Hello everyone, myself Ganesh Mohan, pursuing my Masters with Georgia Institute of Technology through IMSCS. I would like to take this opportunity to walk you through the project that I did in this semester on educational technology. My project work is regarding implementation of educational technology for parents whose kids have autism. It's very important for those parents to be educated about the factors regarding their child's needs and the right way to deal with them, because autism is a medical condition that inhibits the kids from being normal with respect to social behavior and interaction. It's more of a development disorder that has a variable severity that is primarily characterized by difficulty in social interaction and communication. Such parents will need additional efforts from their side to raise the kids. So formal education is required for them to handle the various situations. I would like to take this opportunity to educate them with the research and by implementing the technology that we have in school. So I broke down the project into various tasks, like one is to meet the parents, then to meet the teachers, and then to prepare a questionnaire for parents and to prepare a questionnaire for teachers to understand the subject more. Then I wanted to meet the managers of a autistic school here nearby to understand the subject in depth. Then I wanted to meet the government approved tutors and experts and child behavior specialists to understand and get their feedback. At the end of this project, I wanted to collate them all and to come up with a list of features or uh, attributes of an app or an application that we can develop, which will in turn help the parents of autistic kids. So, the methodology used to collect the data is primarily through interviews and surveys. Since the data is sensitive here, the parents were not willing to reveal their identity and they were not overly enthusiastic in coming up with answers for the surveys and the interview questions. So, I managed to meet around 13, 14 parents, and it was more like an interview. I had to speak to them to understand what they undergo and kind of take their feedback and ask them what they would like to see in an app which will help them back. So this is a methodology that I used, which is more like an interview. So I created these survey questions that I wanted to speak to them about. One is the major issues that they face with the young toddler. How would you like to access the content, web, app, and FAQ and search or video tutorial? And similar questions which will help us identify the various factors concerning them and what would be the medium that they would like to have the solution that we are going to recommend them to. So I had these questionnaire and I discussed with them on all of these topics. And along with meeting the parents, I also had an opportunity to meet with few of the experts. So I got a great opportunity to meet Miss Lakshmi, who has a master's in counseling psychology and professor at Christ University. She was also a guest lecturer at Dalhousie University in India. So I spoke to her and I explained her our motto and what we are trying to achieve. She was very helpful. She went overboard and she suggested me the techniques that will work with them, and she also suggested us on how we can incorporate those techniques into our app. More about it in a while. And then I also got a chance to meet Mrs. Manimuli, who's a member of Common Child Welfare Society in India, and she heads a private institution too. So while speaking to her, she she explained her experience in handling autistic kids and how we can help them and motivate them and their parents. Both of them stressed enough in the role that a parent has to play in raising an autistic kid. One main important thing that Miss Lakshmi told me is how much our effort the tutors put in, if the same is not followed at home, then the next day the kid will start again from square one. So they stressed enough in the importance of parents' involvement in raising an autistic kid. Then I met a parent who was an autistic kid, and she explained us from a parent's perspective of how to handle that scenario and how to go about it. And she also had a good knowledge about the techniques that Miss Lakshmi and Mrs. Manimuli were talking to me about. And I also met 13 other parents, and they didn't want their identity to be revealed, so I have not put their name or contact. And they also helped me with the techniques that they follow, and they came up with the suggestion on what they would like to have in the app or what they wish they had known already to be in the app, which will help them raise a kid. And many of them were asking to come up with a forum with which they can put in their case studies and share the feedback with other mothers or share a technique that works with them, so that the others can learn from it directly. So those are the kind of feedbacks that we got from the various parents, and we have documented them too. Now going back to my paper, so here I have explained the methodology that I use to speak to them, which is more like an interview over phone calls and over mails, and then the findings. We had two important findings in our research, two important methods. One is called the ABA, which means Applied Behavior Analysis. The second one is the Picture Exchange Communication System. So these two are the most effective techniques with which parents can teach their kids at home. And these are the exact techniques that is used by experts to train their kids and the patients. So ABA, the main thing about ABA is it follows three steps, and they call it the ABCs, that helps to understand behavior. An antecedent. This is what occurs right before the target behavior. It can be verbal, such as a command or a request. It can also be physical, such as a toy or an object, or we pointing at something. It can be any of those actions. And then next one is a B, which is the behavior. This is the person's response or lack of response to the antecedent. It can be an action, a verbal response, or something else. The next one is a consequence. This is what comes directly after the behavior, more like a positive reinforcement training. So if, let's say, if we point at a toy and if the kid picks up the toy, then we greet the kid with a treat. So that makes it a positive reinforcement training. So this is one approach that has worked phenomenally in kids. And I got to know about this from the parents as well as the teachers as well as the child behavior specialists with whom we spoke. The next one is PECS, which is called the Picture Exchange Communication System. So this is a very effective method of communication for kids with autism. I have an example here. So the PECS is nothing but a booklet of pictures like this. So whenever you give them milk, you show this picture and then you give them milk. So the next time when they need milk, they will point to this so that you give this to them. So this helps them to communicate with everyone uh, through the pictures. So this is another very important mode of communication or training that is essential. So other than this, there are several other feedbacks that we obtained from the parents as well as the behavior experts, which we have incorporated in the proposal. Our final proposal is a list of features that we would like to have in our application. One is biological information to educate the parents on what actually is autism. The next one is tutorial links on videos of trainers showing how to handle kids and about the various methodologies that we just discussed. Next one is the latest medical information about autism and the latest methods that are coming in. The next one is ABA training. The next one is the PECS images and tabs, or it can be another feature in the app, whereas the parents can click the pictures of those objects that the kid uses often and hand them a tablet, and they can select what they want, and that can be sent as a push notification to the parents, and the parents can come back with whatever object that they have requested for. The next suggestion or a proposal is information about the schools and the tutors in that space for those kids, and a developmental chart within the app with which they can periodically monitor the growth of the kids and the development of the kids, contacts of hospitals and doctors, an exclusive chat page connecting them to all the users of this app. So this will let parents discuss among other parents on their day-to-day issues. And an ML-based algorithm can be executed based on the data collected across all the users to suggest ideas and methodologies that works for a particular parent. And another important thing that I learned with the interaction with all the parents and the child behavior experts is that kids' acceptance towards missions. So the kids have a very good acceptance towards AI missions, and they show a consistent behavior with them. So the devices, when assisted by AI, can interact with the kids and help them do things in a better way. So we can think about robotics and all the other things here. And for PCS, we can also think about stuff like augmented reality and virtual reality, which will help kids achieve even better. So these are the set of features that I have come up as my proposal, and this is the result of my research activity that I worked on over the last few months, interacting with the teachers, the parents, the kids themselves at some places, and the child behavior experts. The conclusion is that this is an app that I would like to be built by myself. And since I didn't have the time in this semester, I couldn't do it, but I'm definitely planning to pick it up. If this is done, the next steps would be to keep on updating and upgrading the app with respect to the latest and the greatest innovation happening in this field. So with that, I conclude my research work. I thoroughly enjoyed working and I felt so good doing something with which we are actually contributing to the society. Thank you so much.